better as meals. Is less cool for sure than saying Burning Man changed my life. So on the spectrum of coolness, on the spectrum of cool utterances, saying Burning Man changed my life is above saying I like to eat dogs, but below saying I'm going to join ISIS. So before I proceed with my obligatory Burning Man rant, I'm just going to play a tiny clip from a YouTube video that went viral by the brilliant Kevin Oser called How Was Burning Man? And I'm just going to play it to try to avoid getting the inevitable stream of tweets telling me that this is what I sound like. So here it is. This is a really funny parody video about what it's like to get an ear beating from someone who just got back from Burning Man. It's just a tiny little clip. I'll have the link to the YouTube video in the comments section of this episode.
Cool. So, how was Burning Man?
How was Burning Man?
What's wrong?
It's just a fundamentally absurd question. That's all. How was Burning Man? You should be asking me how wasn't Burning Man? How was Burning Man? That's cute.
I don't understand.
It's okay. Get yourself up. Let me say this. The burn was everything I needed it to be. Everything I wanted it to be. Plus, none of that. It was spiritual, physical, mental. It was everything. It was literally everything.
It's true, man. It's everything out there. As we were coming back from the festival, we passed our neighbor who knew that we were going to Burning Man, and she told us that when she returned from her first Burning Man, she gave up everything that she had and moved to Paris to study baking pastries for a year, which is pretty amazing. It's such a powerful experience that they have a saying, which is, don't divorce your parakeet. The idea is that when you get back from Burning Man, you are not allowed to make any serious life decisions for 3 weeks, because if you're not careful, you can end up moving to India, shaving your head and becoming a monk, or you can end up making radical life decisions. You might marry somebody that you met out there. You might decide to sell your house, get a divorce, quit your job. But why? Why is this festival such a powerful event for so many? No way to answer that question. Everyone's going to have their own reason for it, but I will tell you one experience that I had out there and what it did for me. So there's a structure out there called the temple, and when you're approaching any structure at Burning Man, you're probably riding your bike, and you're going to spend some time pedaling in the direction of, and so you get to sort of have all these mini pilgrimages out there. And so the temple, as you approach it for the first time, it's just beautiful. It's a $600,000 sculpture. The architect who built it had a $600,000 grant, and people had told us the temple is very powerful, but I wasn't sure exactly what it was. So as you get closer and closer to this beautiful structure, you think, my God, this is just an incredible thing. And then when you get to the perimeter and you park your bike and start walking towards it, then the mood of the festival just shifts, and suddenly things become a little more quiet. You're no longer hearing the cacophony of the varying types of music that are being blasted out of the insanely psychedelic art cars that are riding throughout the playa. Things get a little quiet, and you notice that people are hugging each other in front of this structure, and that people are sitting and meditating in front of the structure. And when you walk into the structure, you are greeted with thousands upon thousands of images of people who have died, and of articles of clothing, baby clothes, dog collars, pictures of pets, letters, inscriptions, just an endless array of varying depictions and testaments to people who've passed away. and you feel as though you have walked into some kind of energetic field of sweet grief, and it's overpowering, and almost everyone in there is crying. You can not avoid it. And when my mom passed away, I don't know that I really had like a funeral for her in the way that I would have liked to have it. And that is what I got to do in this temple, because all of my grief, all of my personal grief, and the grief that comes when you lose a parent, was suddenly held by a community of people who are equally suffering. And
Damn!
you're reminded of the fact that you are not the only person carrying around whatever grief you have, whether it's for your dog or for a loved one or a relationship. And that that interaction, you know, this sort of ongoing funeral, this ongoing mourning that's happening in this festival filled with life, was so powerful for me that I was able to release a lot of grief there. And I mean, I'll be indebted to that community forever for that, because it felt like something got pulled out of me into that place. And then the last thing they burn is this temple. So I don't know how many people were left at the festival at this time, 50,000, 40,000, I'm not really sure. But everyone sits around this temple as it burns to the ground. And you look up, and all of the pictures and all of the letters and notes and all of the testimonials have been transformed into embers that are being carried on the desert winds above the crowd that's silently watching this temple burn. Dust storms are kicking up. It was amazing. It was amazing. And then once the temple burns, the entire group, starting from one side, moving to the other, begins to howl like dogs. It was really one of the most powerful experiences I've ever had in my life. Also, it didn't hurt that I ended up camping with a group of some of the coolest people on planet Earth. And they gave me a crash course class in how to be a human being again. So fuck being cool, man. It's an expensive addiction. And thank God for whatever mystical force it is at Burning Man that turns cool people into burning people. So I'm just going to end this rant by dedicating this song to my beautiful camp, the Enchanted Booty Forest, and to all of those souls who are out there with me at the 20s Booty Man by Tim Wilson. Casey, I got your cup.
Tight.